Hello, we are the Super Zeroz and we will describe some research ethics case studies for your consideration and group discussion. We need to tell you that these case studies are not of our own design, or that of Dr. Henry Anthony Schaller. We are reading the case studies word for word from an essay entitled, "What is Ethics in Research and Why is it Important?" This essay is written by Dr. David B. Resnick and is published on the website of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, National Institutes of Health. I needed to say this in order to model ethical behavior. Please listen carefully and prepare yourself for some follow-up discussion.
Here is case study number 1. The research protocol for a study of a drug on hypertension requires the administration of the drug at different doses to 50 laboratory mice. There will be both chemical and behavioral tests to determine toxic effects. Tom has almost finished the experiment for Dr. Q. He has only 5 mice left to test. However, he really wants to finish his work in time to go to Florida on spring break with his friends, who are leaving tonight. He has injected the drug in all 50 mice but has not completed all of the tests. He therefore decides to extrapolate from the 45 completed results to produce the 5 additional results. What do you think about this? Was anything wrong here? If so, what was wrong? Take a moment to discuss this.
Okay, now that you had some time to discuss this case, I would very much like to interject some further thoughts for your consideration. Here is my take on this case. Many different research ethics policies would hold that Tom has acted unethically by fabricating data. If this study was sponsored by a federal agency, such as the NIH, his actions would constitute a form of research misconduct, which the government defines as fabrication, falsification, or plagiarism, or FFP. Actions that nearly all researchers classify as unethical are viewed as misconduct. It is important to remember, however, that misconduct occurs only when researchers intend to deceive. Honest errors related to sloppiness, poor record keeping, miscalculations, bias, self-deception, and even negligence do not constitute misconduct. Also, reasonable disagreements about research methods, procedures, and interpretations do not constitute research misconduct. Now, let us do another one. Now, please pay attention while we review case number 2.
Dr. T has just discovered a mathematical error in a paper that has been accepted for publication in a journal. The error does not affect the overall results of his research, but it is potentially misleading. The journal has just gone to press, so it is too late to catch the error before it appears in print. In order to avoid embarrassment, Dr. T decides to ignore the error. If you were Dr. T, what would you do and why would you do it? Please take a moment to discuss this case within your group.
Dr. T's error is not considered as misconduct, nor is his decision to take no action to correct the error. Most researchers, as well as many different policies and codes, would say that Dr. T should tell the journal about the error and consider publishing a correction or errata. Failing to publish a correction would be unethical because it would violate norms relating to honesty and objectivity in research. There are many other activities that the government does not define as misconduct, but which are still regarded by most researchers as unethical. These are called other deviations from acceptable research practices and include things like publishing the same paper in 2 different journals without telling the editors, not informing a collaborator of your intent to file a patent in order to make sure that you are the sole inventor, and making derogatory comments and personal attacks in your review of an author's submission. This is by no means an exhaustive list. How about one more case? Okie dokie, so let us have a go at case number 3. Listen carefully on this next one.
Dr. Wexford is the principal investigator of a large epidemiological study on the health of 5,000 agricultural workers. She has an impressive dataset that includes information on demographics, environmental exposures, diet, genetics, and various disease outcomes such as cancer, Parkinson's disease, and ALS. She has just published a paper on the relationship between pesticide exposure and Parkinson's disease in a prestigious journal. She is planning to publish many other papers from her dataset. She receives a request from another research team that wants access to her complete dataset. They are interested in examining the relationship between pesticide exposures and skin cancer. Dr. Wexford was planning to conduct a study on this topic. So, what should she do? Please take some time to discuss this one.
Wowzers, this one is a real thinker. No doubt that Dr. Wexford faces a difficult choice. On the one hand, the ethical norm of openness obliges her to share data with the other research team. Her funding agency may also have rules that obligate her to share data. On the other hand, if she shares data with the other team, they may publish results that she was planning to publish, thus depriving her and her team of recognition and priority. It seems that there are good arguments on both sides of this issue, and Dr. Wexford needs to take some time to think about what she should do. One possible option is to share data, provided that the investigators sign a data use agreement. The agreement could define allowable uses of the data, publication plans, authorship, etc. Well, friends, wasn't this fun? I sure hope you got something from this exercise. We face ethical decisions every day, and it is up to you to carefully weigh your actions to preserve the highest level of ethical standards in the work that you do.
Peace out, my brothers from other mothers and my sisters from other misters.